Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back in with another live stream. Just had a few minutes before I go play golf, and just thought I would do a quick lesson, review on an incredibly important chapter, Matthew 24, and just read it and remind others, I guess, and of the times that we live in and how we're given clues. This is the way the Bible works. God wants us to pursue Him, diligently pursue Him, and seek a reward, which is an important aspect of God's character. Okay, and I'll get that verse. And so He leaves clues, and then thankfully they're all coming together, and making it fairly clear that this event of Christ's second coming is very near. Hebrews 11:6, but without faith it is impossible to please Him, for he who comes to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. And so, through our understanding of the Bible and through our life, we diligently seek Him. People that come by here, and we hope that He seeks us, and returns very, very soon. And so, like I was saying, the Bible doesn't say Christ will return on this date, in this year, because again, Christ Himself does not know the timing of His own return. And so, but we're given clues, and Christ gives us a lot of important clues in Matthew 24. The entire chapter, of course, everything Christ says is prophetic, and ultimately points to Him establishing the kingdom here on earth. And Matthew 24 is no different. Matthew 24, actually, let me read the rest of it just to get the full understanding. But we're given some very, very important clues about Christ's second coming. Matthew 24:29, immediately after the tribulation of those days. Immediately after the tribulation. So the Bible teaches a post-tribulation second coming, okay? Or rapture, caught up in the clouds, okay? Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. This is consistent with Joel 2:31, and I took the lesson down just because it turned into like a circus, basically. But Joel 2:31, the sun shall be darkened. Sorry, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. So these are talking about the same event. Okay. And, the cool thing about it is that that's reaffirmed in Acts, so again, it just shows that, there's consistency between the Old and New Testament. Okay. Everybody was saying the same thing, and the prophet Joel, and then, the disciples and apostles in Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord come. And so, again, those happen regularly, so this is not anything new. But it's interesting. I'll bring out that point that there's another one of those events coming, this quote unquote blood moon. So I can't see the chat as quickly because I'm using my phone. But just welcome to anybody who's in the chat. Mustard Gas 203. America is getting attacked on all fronts. The administration has put in place to destroy the. Yeah, I agree with that. The leadership, quote unquote, leadership in America is, destroying America from the inside out. Okay, and they are indeed set up to do that. Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, these stars shall fall from heaven. I believe it's referring to the angels. Okay, when they gather the elect from the four winds, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And so again, in Joel 2:31, you add that together, 33. Okay, which is a number that oftentimes refers to Christ's second coming. Okay, and Acts 2:20, you add that together, is 22. That's a number for the earth. So this event is happening here on earth, salvation. So, Okay, so we know that we got to look for tribulation. Okay, and then the sun being darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Okay, and so we had a solar eclipse recently, and then there's an upcoming lunar eclipse. Okay, these quote unquote blood moons in the middle of this month. Okay, I believe it's the 15th and 16th. Let me double check that. The exact dates, just to keep, just to understand. I'm reading from space.com. A total lunar eclipse will turn the moon red the night of May 15th. Okay, and so I'll put the link to this in the chat. And, just so people have it as a reference. So that's the upcoming lunar eclipse. And again, if you look at the schedule of those eclipses, they do happen regularly. So I'm not saying that this is the only option, the one that's coming up. But when you look at the schedule, it is kind of interesting that, the timing of them, and then there's one coming, like I said, in this month. And then, another one in November, and then the next one is in March 2025. So the upcoming 5 total lunar eclipses is May 15th and 16th, okay, November 7th and 8th, and then March 13th to 14th, 2025. So, we don't have really that many options if this is the fulfillment of Joel and Acts. And so, there's not that many options. That's why, again, I'm making a case for, obviously, Christ returning during this one, that's coming up. And, this is definitely related to Matthew 24 that I'm talking about here. So I'll put this link in the chat as well, just so people can see the schedule of lunar eclipses, that are coming up. So, to me, again, just with the way kind of the world is, with the verse that I'm about to read in Matthew 24, there's not that much time, remaining for the words of God to be fulfilled, and I think that that's exciting because, it's, to me, it's just amazing, that we could very well be living in those days. And so another cool thing just about this eclipse that's coming up, on May 15th to 16th, is its magnitude is 1.414, so 1414, okay, which is an interesting number for the end times, 144, and that's its magnitude, and that type of thing. So this is a good link as well that I'm about to put here in the chat for the schedule of the upcoming ones. And so to me, it's not talking about the one in 2025. I think any reasonable person who knows about the Bible, and what's going on, that there's no way that Christ is returning after the year 2025. That does not make sense, at all. So to me, it's either this one or the next one, in November. And then, this verse in Matthew will also support that as well. So, okay, so we're expecting tribulation, and I think anybody who has a brain and eyes to see is that the earth is in tribulation now. Okay, it has been for a while, but we've been lied to our whole life about the shape of the earth and whether God exists or not. Okay, atheism has been completely normalized, and that's been accepted, whether it's explicit or not. And so, God's existence has been hidden, for sure. I'll put a link in the chat in case people want to join. I'm just speaking of Matthew 24, that type of thing. But let me just get the link there. I'm probably going to only stay on for maybe like an hour, but it's just to go over Matthew 24, 38 to 39. Bible Defender. Shout out to Bible Defender 144. He's like, we ought to hear this year or next, definitely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's, it's getting very clear that, we could start. I mean, we always could, look at the signs. We're required to. But, it's amazing, to me that we're living in those days. It's very, very clear that Christ will be returning, either this year or next year, or never, never at all. And not many people could have said that, throughout human history. We're the ones who can proclaim that. And it's because we've done our due diligence. And first of all, we're anxious for him to return, first and foremost, all the time. The disciples were always asking, all right, when are you going to set up the kingdom? When are you going to set up the kingdom? Show us the Father, show us the Father. So that was their mindset. And then those souls are back here on this earth saying the same thing. When are you going to establish your kingdom? When are you going to establish your kingdom? And show us the Father, show us the Father. Okay. And so that's why we know that we are those same souls, back now. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Oh, wait, sorry, about the tribulation. Let's just go over a quick rundown of what's going on earth right now. We have Ukraine getting absolutely decimated right now. And that's not funny at all. That's just the way it is. And we have Africa has largely been in, poverty for a long time. India is just, again, in similar type of poverty. Again, they've been advancing, in terms of their technology and infrastructure, but a vast majority of their people are in destitute poverty. America, definitely over half of the people are living paycheck to paycheck, which is not something that anybody has ever had to worry about in the past. Okay. That's why this is a unique form of tribulation, the days that we live in now. People didn't have, a paycheck and worry about keeping their job and like all these different health conditions that just popped up now all of a sudden and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very unique time in human history. Okay. And so the notion of like losing your job and all that kind of stuff didn't exist in the past. Okay. To the extent that it does now. So, God would set up people and remove them directly, but that's well over 50% of American population is living paycheck to paycheck. So what that means is that if they ever have an unexpected expense, then, they could be in a very difficult situation, have to sell things, that they own. And the scary thing is for people, they would even consider selling their body. And then we see that in South America, with women resorting to like prostitution, and here as well, in America, everywhere. So that's certainly a form of tribulation. Okay. And then Canada's the same thing. Their economy is tanking, and has been for a while. South America is in bad shape. We know about Venezuela. Notice how nobody talks about Venezuela anymore. It's just all of a sudden now it's Ukraine. But that doesn't mean that the people in Venezuela are doing great now, or anything like that. I mean, their currency was, debased, and they're still dealing with that same situation. Okay. Europe's going through inflation just like America. Europe and inflation are kind of 1-to-1. And, we're hanging on by a thread, so to speak, quite literally. And so Australia, the economy sucks, and all of them are just a bunch of zombies. And, we see what's going on in China right now. So, it's, and I want people to know, check this out. Google the definition of Shanghai. Here's the definition of Shanghai. Okay. Historical: to force someone to join a ship lacking a full crew by drugging them or using often underhanded means. An informal definition: coerce or trick someone into a place or position or into doing something. So that's the definition of Shanghai. And we see what's going on in Shanghai. And so that's truth in plain sight. So the people over there are getting absolutely crushed. Okay. And so, that's the deal. So there's tribulation. Okay. I don't think any reasonable person, definitely a truther, if you're a flat earther, you should know that you're in tribulation right now, and you actually have been your whole life. Okay. So Matthew 24 in that regard has been fulfilled. Bible Bible Defenders said Acts 1, 6-10. Okay. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? That's a key word, Israel. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons, but the Father hath put in his own power. So Christ is subservient to the Most High. Verse 8, but ye shall receive power after the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witness unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and into the uttermost parts of the earth, which proves that the elect are scattered in the last days. Okay, and there's a coded reference, and ye shall be witnesses unto me. Okay, the two witnesses in the last days, because they're going to be seen across the entire earth, okay, during their time of their ministry. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight, a UFO. Okay, there's a lot of UFO chatter and aliens and all this kind of NASA sending nudes to the. I just posted a video on that. NASA are just a bunch of dummies. Okay, and they mock God and they blaspheme God. Okay, and that's what it means here when it says, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Verse 10, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went out, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. Those are the two witnesses. And that's the fulfillment of ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the uttermost parts of the earth. It's during the time of the two witnesses. So, like the verse 1 is important. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? That's what we're asking every day. Okay. When will the kingdom be established? We're tired of living here in this body and then around these people. Okay. We're trying to control our body and, not allow it to be healthy. Okay. And rest and worship God and lots of things. So that's a great precept. And so here we go. In verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Verse 31, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. Okay, and if you look up that word stars in Matthew 24:29, that can also refer to angels. Let me get the understanding on that in the blue letter. It's a term called aster. Okay, and so did the sound go out? Can somebody just check if the audio is okay? Galapagos saying you can't hear me. I'll just check if it's, I can just use my headset. 1 second. Let me know if this is better. I just switched to my headset. Sometimes when I speak through my phone, it is a bit staticky. And, that's, hopefully this is a bit better. So Matthew 24, 29. If we look at that. The stars, okay, is G792. When you look it up in the blue letter, it's called aster. It's literally a star. And then if you go and look at its other usages in the Bible, it can refer to angels. Revelation 1:20, the mystery of the 7 stars, which is Aster, which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. So we see here that Aster is a term that's also used to describe angels, because it says here the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches. So in Matthew 24, where it says the stars shall fall from heaven, is very likely referring to the angels. Okay, that it says in verse 31, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. And so that's Christ's second coming. Okay, and so we're looking for a time of tribulation, which is very clear that we're in now, and then the sun will be darkened, okay, which happened a few days ago. The moon shall not give her light, which is going to happen in a couple weeks. And, that would precede Christ's second coming. Here's the clue, though, that I want to focus on. Matthew 24, starting here at 38, okay, and 39. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So right up until Noah entered into the ark, people were eating and drinking and giving into marriage. So there was still activities, and functions, and then access to food, and people marrying, thinking everything's okay, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And so took them all away in the last days is talking about the rapture, which is what it talks about in verse 40. Then 2 shall be in the field, 1 shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. That's in Matthew 24:42. You add those numbers together, you get Matthew 6:6. Okay, which is oftentimes, not every time, 33 and 666 denote Christ's second coming. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have allowed his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. That's in verse 44. That's talking about God's elect. Okay, therefore also ye be ready. Okay. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom the Lord hath made rule over of his household, to give them meat in the due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. So that's talking about the elect. Okay, because they're going to be made rulers in the kingdom. And so, that's all of this is language for people who believe they're part of that group to know when Christ is going to return, and to look forward to it and excited about it. And so my point of this video is Hangout or whatever, is to just look at the schedule of the blood moons, okay, and then look at what's going on in the world. Does it make sense that Matthew 24 and Joel and Acts will be fulfilled in 2025? How can people be eating and drinking and giving into marriage in 2025 with the way the world is right now? They're barely doing that now. That's my point. And you can make a strong argument that that's not the case in what's going on in Russia and Ukraine and lots of places in Africa and South America, where God's people could potentially be. So that's why, again, I feel very strongly that it's going to be this one coming up or the one after at the latest, the next blood moon in November. So there's basically 0% chance at this point that my initial prediction, quote unquote prediction in 2019, which was made out of frustration largely, is not going to manifest, where I said that Christ was going to return prior to January 1, 2024. That's basically a certainty at this point. Okay, and again, I didn't know exactly why I stated that and then picked that time period. Again, at this point, it looks like it was inspired for me to say that. But that's clearly true, that Christ is going to return in 2022 or 2023. And that's the absolute latest. And I would even say next year is a bit of a stretch because of how much tribulation the world is right now. Because there's a balance, because what after comes after tribulation is great tribulation. And so if great tribulation hits, then Christ did not return the way he said, eating and drinking and giving into marriage. So, and, people that teach that that's going to occur after the great tribulation, like End Times teacher, that doesn't make any sense. He knows that that's stupid. That's what he has to teach, but that doesn't make sense. You can't read the wrath of God, the plagues in Revelation 16, and then expect that after that, people are going to be eating and drinking and giving to marriage. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Are people going to be buying things and all that? Yeah, of course. But the mood, the cheerfulness of the earth is going to literally be removed at that point. Okay. And so that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense. Even if those plagues did not happen, it still doesn't make sense that would be 3 years from now. Just even if the earth just kept going the way it is, even without God hitting it with the wrath of God, the plagues in Revelation 16, there still wouldn't be cheerfulness, down the road. It's not going to get fixed. We know that. The Bible says, Babylon will not be healed. And so it's going to keep getting worse. The food shortages, the food insecurity, the housing insecurity with the homeless, the health insecurities, and all that kind of stuff. The uncertainty in the world is going to keep increasing. And so that's obviously true at this point. So there's no way that Christ's words in Matthew 24:38-39 are going to be fulfilled in the distant future. Let me read it again. Matthew 24:38. Let me read, actually, I'll start at 36. So Matthew 24:36, talking about Christ's second coming in Matthew 24:666. Okay. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So right up until that day, there's going to be a weird sense of everything's okay. People just pretending everything's fine. Yeah, the war, no big deal, whatever. Okay, verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, which in the last days of salvation, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And so things are going to be somewhat normal right up until that day. Okay. And so that's why the world being in this weird state of like, yeah, everything's fine, but deep down, not even really deep down, we all know that something's really wrong with the world, with gas prices, food prices, home prices, car prices, school, quote unquote, school being expensive, the loan crisis, student loan crisis, everything crisis. Okay. And so we all have an eerie sense that something's really, really wrong, and then there's cracks in the system. I would say they're massive cracks at this point. And then we have the Fed, I believe today or something, they're going to probably raise the interest rates again. And so that's just going to make it worse. Because the last thing and the only thing that's the positive in the world is the stock market. And that only benefits like a very, very small group of people. So that's clearly about to find its true fair value, which is nowhere near what it's at, and so that's the last bright spot in the world, really, is the stock market, and that again only benefits very, very few number of corporations. So that's where we're at, right now in quote unquote human history. So to me, again, for people who are waiting, and just for people to understand the claims that the Bible makes, just for future reference, the Bible makes those claims about Christ's second coming. It's going to be after tribulation, but that tribulation is going to be strange because it's going to be where some people still think that everything's fine, and quite a few people, just like in the days of Noah, like, a majority of the people said, hey, everything's fine. Like, what's that Noah guy doing over there building that? What is that kind of thing? Like, what the hell is that? Everybody was like, yeah, everything's cool, right? But Noah knew, like, no, it's not cool. God is about to bring a very, very harsh and serious judgment onto the earth, and he flooded the earth with water. And so he opened up the floodgates of heaven. This is why we live in a flat stationary plane with a dome, and he just opened up literally the heavens, and then it flooded the earth. And so that also proves that we live, on a flat stationary plane, and we live under a firmament, okay, which prevents the waters from flooding us. And in the last days, the difference is that God's going to use fire, to cleanse the earth. And we just don't want to be a part of that judgment, okay, because that fire is body and soul. It's permanent. So, it's amazing. For me personally, like, I would say, again, if people have the resources to wait for this one and the next one, I would say that you've been blessed, in the sense that you're going to see Christ's second coming if it ever happens after this one, and I would say, just to be humble, at latest the next one in November, the next blood moon. But after that, I don't think it's reasonable for anybody to expect to see Christ return in the sky, because then he would be inconsistent with his words. Okay, then he would be returning at a time where a large percentage of the world is not eating and drinking and giving into marriage. They're not in a cheerful mood. So they would be like, what are you doing here? Like, he would be a liar, really. And so, just do a quick hello in the chat. Mustard Gas, I've never actually seen you, but welcome. Bible Defender, Galapagos, let me know if you can still can't hear me. Jason Mull and Catherine S., good to see you. Good morning, all. I didn't get an alert that you were live, joining late. Yeah, it's I get that with other quote unquote truthers. They do this like shadow banning kind of thing where I don't watch Russianvids' live streams anymore, but I noticed that I wouldn't see his in the feed, and then same with people like Call for an Uprising. I didn't see when they were going live. I only found it when I was looking on my home button on my phone, and it wasn't in my subscriptions, but it was off on the side. Or if I specifically click people who are live, then it would tell me, okay, somebody's live. But it doesn't surprise me. I think once you get a strike or two or three, maybe, then you get put on that list, to be shadow banned. So I take that as a compliment. This is not a shot to our friends at YouTube. TMoG comes in peace today. But that's just that's the world that we live in. So, Creation Bear, what's up, man? Good to see you. So, for people, just I think everybody's kind of looking to the sky anyway. This is not a new thing, but take a look at the schedule for those lunar eclipses. And that's why God does that. He's the one that made those lights in the sky, which is what they are: the sun and the moon and the stars, aster, okay, which can also refer to angels. So, he put them there, for signs and seasons and that kind of thing, and to pin down, when he's going to do various things. And so all these things have been set in motion. So it would with what I see now, it would be hard for me to believe that God's elect would want to stay here for more than today, because we know that this ship is sinking. We know it. It's you don't even have to be a religious person. Gregory Mannarino, Peter Schiff, all these people, I even watch a bit of like Full Spectrum Survival that ETT sent me a link. So people like that know that this place is going down. AMTV is another one, Christopher Green. So it's common knowledge basically at this point. So that they're not God's elect, okay, at least from what I see. So God's elect would be very, very aware of the fact that this place is sinking. Yeah, you can click the link, ETT. This is open, man. I'm just gonna be on here for another 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go play some golf. But I was just discussing. I don't know what you caught of this stream. I was talking about Matthew 24, 38 to 39. And just how it's looking good. For people who are waiting, like me, for Christ's second coming. Okay. To gather his elect from the four winds. And that's just an exciting thing, just to be able to witness it, it'd be great, even if I'm not involved in that and taken away, to be able to witness that would be just an incredible thing. Then that validates all of our uh, study of the Bible. Because then we're like, well, the Bible's true at that point. There's no doubt. So that's going to be the thing that solidifies our faith in God, so to speak, and makes our God unique than every other God. No other religion, as far as I know, makes a claim that their God is going to come and rescue a certain people out of trouble. We got ETT on the panel. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man? Are you able to hear me clear?
Yep. Shalom.
Yeah. I saw you made a mention. I literally just got up like 5 minutes ago, so I won't be on for too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to ask because I heard you mentioned Full Spectrum Survival. Do you watch his stuff?
Yeah, dude, he's like he's hyped up, man. Like he's like, dude, this thing's over, man. They're gonna send the missiles. So any video, anybody like that, I'm down to watch that. So it's cool. I do watch that.
Yeah. He puts one up like every 24 hours, usually around like which for my time it's usually like 2:30 p.m. or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, he puts one up like an update every day. I like to watch his page because he's been doing that for years on end, almost every single day. So he's one of the more reliable channels anyone's watching, should check him out.
I'll put
Again,
the
the
link in the
channel name.
chat. Yeah, I'll put the
Yeah,
link in the
yeah,
chat.
check that channel out. It's a good one.
Here's the question I have that ETT I bet would have too. Why are these non-religious people telling us to prep? Why is the Christian church not telling us to prepare and you know stockpile stuff? Like, where's the church? Okay, why are all
Good
these
point.
other fringe people doing all this stuff? And so that shows us how fraudulent the church and our education system is. They never taught us the basics of survival. And so that's the cool thing about the times that we live in now. If you're like quote unquote off the mainstream path or whatever, you're probably in a good situation, because if you're part of the multitudes and all that, like, they don't care about people at all. you know I I just put the link in the chat for Full Spectrum Survival, but these people are teaching us things that we should have known from the beginning, how to survive and all that stuff on our own. So what's going on with that?
Right, right, definitely. So here it is. We'll have people who, are not really on the religious side, such as his channel. He's just coming from like the news perspective, which is all right. We need people doing that as well because, there's people out here, who won't even listen to the religious people. So it's like, okay, well, if you won't listen to them, listen to this guy who doesn't even put a religious spin on the information he's bringing
Right.
out. At
Yeah.
least listen to that. Um, but it's funny because we got guys like that who are dedicated day in, day out to, prepare people for things to come. But then guys like Primal Man, oh, don't worry about nothing. We're all good. We're living in the kingdom today. I mean, what's up with these people, man? These guys are a damn joke.
Yeah. Dude, let me just read some of Full Spectrum's titles, okay? Go buy extra food and water. Citizen alert, okay? Our Russian agents at work here. Get your food and medicine now. Nuclear submarines are on the move to declare war. Dude, this guy is funny, man. It's not funny, but like, it's like he has a sense of urgency that, we've had, for a while, as far as like wanting it to be the end times. But like, why are
Right.
these secular people running circles around, like sorry, non-secular people running circles around the religious people? These people genuinely don't want Christ to return. The we're living in the kingdom and the preterists and all that kind of stuff. And so it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
you know
it's crazy. It's crazy, man. And there's even theories out here. I didn't look too much into these, but there's certain guys. Like there was even a guy who was on what was this cat? Oh, Good Serpent's channel. Like 8 months ago, there's a guy who called in. I scheduled a time for him to come join our show, but he
Mhm.
never showed up for some reason. I tried to send this guy a message on Gmail, but he don't answer. So I don't know what the hell's up with that. But they're saying
Yeah.
that there's something along the lines of Christ already returned and was ruling for 1,000 years during the Dark Ages,
Hmm.
the Middle Ages. But now we're basically living in a time after Christ, came where Satan was loosed for 1,000 years. So that's the time we're in right
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy.
I mean, this is actually, I was going to ask you, do you teach, and do other people in the Hebrew movement teach that Amos is talking about the blood moons, or do you believe that that's symbolic of something? Where
Uh,
it says the
what?
moon.
Could you read the verse on that?
Yeah,
Would be
yeah, yeah. Let me
familiar.
read it. Yeah. So it's Amos 3, sorry, 2:31, and it's sorry, not Amos, sorry, Joel 2:31. I just read that. Joel 2:31. This is also recited in Acts. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Do you believe that those are those blood moons that happen regularly?
I'll say this off of reading it, it looks like it's saying that, yeah. But
Okay.
we all understand this as well, is it could also mean right before Christ returns that happens, because it also speaks about the sun, something happening with the sun, with it, becoming dark
Yeah.
as well. So I mean, it
Eclipse.
could be a different event, but yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah. And again, I don't want people to get, don't take this like that's the only time. Okay. And it doesn't mean that he returns the next day. I'm not saying that. Like, it just means that it says before. So it could be whatever, a day, 2, 3, it could be whatever, months, 2 months. So until the next one, because they happen regularly. So I'm not, don't tell people, don't go out and saying that TMoG saying that. But, it's, there is something to be said for the fact that they happen and they don't happen every day and they're spaced out. And the next one is in November and then the following one's in 2025. So to me, like, that's not, Christ is not returning in 2025 as much as Rebel Nazarene wants that, or other people like that. So come on, man. But
Yeah, man, it's as I said, man, it's just these guys out here, supposedly giving the truth on YouTube, man. These guys are just a damn joke, man. Like
mhm,
Jurassic liars. They only focus on on one topic. Who was
mhm.
that just hopped in here for a split
It
second?
was young Moses, but I didn't see him until now. But maybe he'll come back. So we're trying to get Flat Earth Boxer and ETT and us, to come together in a spirit of let's focus on what we agree. So maybe he'll
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back on.
that's cool. That's cool. Let's
But
see.
last night's stream was epic, man. We covered a lot of good topics. It was lighthearted. We got to laugh still a little bit because things are getting crazy out here. So
Right, right, definitely, man, definitely. But yeah, you said you checked out that prostitute Mickey video I sent you, man. You should check out the whole series, man.
that's where I now, because I never understood the wet blanket until I watched that video. So a lot of the stuff you say, unless I watch the video, it won't make sense. So, that's the deal. But I don't know, man. I posted some videos that the Corolla inside joke is not going away. So, if it did kind of go away, then we could be like, yeah, maybe this is not quite it yet. If it's just kind of okay, we got enough people, and then the people that didn't take it can still figure out a way to survive and all that. But it's clear that the Most High is not taking the foot off the gas with that. So,
Right, right,
we'd have to believe that we're
right. And
close.
now they're talking about what's this whole new thing that they're talking about? This bird flu or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're saying there was a person who actually got that just a few days ago.
Hmm.
Now, so who the hell knows? What's going on, but the scriptures say there would be pestilences, right? So it's plural, right? It would be more than one
Hmm.
thing going around in the last times, and there's people out here, like even Bible Defender, I believe he said something like this months ago, that he's skeptical, if there's really anything going around, which I
Hmm.
would disagree on that,
Yeah.
because I know people myself, who came down with something. So is it exactly what they're saying?
No,
Maybe
it's
not,
real for sure.
but it was
For sure.
definitely something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I initially was like RV being an auto hoaxer. Nah, no, it's like stupid. But like, it's kind of the same with Ukraine. Initially, I thought, oh no, it's more propaganda. But I mean, you watch the videos, either that's really good CGI, I'm talking really good CGI, or that place is getting decimated. Okay. So, I mean, pick whatever you want. But like, it's getting ridiculous now. Like you can't say that everything is fake now. That's not going to work. So Jack came on here yesterday saying we've learned a lot from Russianvids, which is true. We have, man. But
Right.
that doesn't mean Russianvids is the end all be all. He's going to keep pushing that BS, oh no, everything's fake. And, it's this and that and, whatever. And we're not at the end yet. I don't know. And all that. Like, give me a break, man. Like, how
Hey,
many more things?
you know what Russianvids needs to do? He needs to do platforms like we do. He needs to open up the platforms so people from the audience can hop on. That'll be an interesting stream right there.
Mhm.
Um, because as far as I know, he only really does it with certain guests he already, pre-schedules to come on, but he needs to do like an open podcast where people can call in. I think that'll be
Who,
interesting.
Russianvids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him on Skype, but I was like, I just kind of trolled him. I'm like, hey, I'm ready if you ever need me as a panel. He'll never let us on, man, because you know what we're going to talk about, dude. We talk about Mystery Babylon. We're going to talk about the Mark. We're going to talk about hell being the physical earth. And then he's going to get cut 6 ways to Subway, man. And he's going to
Yeah,
cut the
yeah.
stream.
These guys do what's common for them to do is they'll like take the middle. So they're not saying something's wrong, but they're also not saying something's right. Like a lot of
Right.
these folks do, just
Yeah.
so they don't offend certain of their believers in the audience who subscribe to any of those
Right.
beliefs, by saying that it's false or not true. So they'll usually take the middleman, saying,
Mhm.
oh, maybe possibly, I have to do more research into it, or,
Yeah.
oh, it could be true, a side man like that.
Dude, did you hear Good Serpent talk earlier? Man, he
What
actually
do you
was
say?
impressed me, man. I was listening to his stream. He got Bible literalist Paula on Level Up. He's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have a Christ that's light skinned. I know that offends people and stuff. Like the guy's maybe he's coming into the light, man. Like he's like, yeah, I understand
Yo,
that
yo,
that's
real
not what
quick.
it should be.
Hey, Jack, Brother Jack in the comments. Can you click the link? Can you explain that to us? Because hell, you might be right, but I'm interested and see like what can you use to convince us that that's true that they're using CGI
No,
over
no,
there.
he's saying nobody is pushing a narrative at CGI. He's saying many elements of the Ukraine war is total deception, and we agree that it's deceptive only in the sense that they're not telling us the truth. What's the truth? God's doing that destruction. God's
Right,
bombing
right.
those steel
All right,
plants and all that.
my apology that I misread his comment
No,
there.
that's fine. But he also says it's total deception, which is not. It's not total deception. It's actual destruction. So you
Right.
can't say many elements of the Ukraine war is total deception.
Well,
If
let's
there
say
is a
this.
deception, it's that God's behind it. Go ahead.
If as I said, click the link, man. Come on and and you can elaborate on what you mean by it's a total deception, because I am intrigued in seeing what you mean
Dude,
by
that's
that.
your bodyguard. How do you not know what he's teaching, ETT? This guy will defend you to the bitter end, man. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, me and ETT are cool, man. We have differences. We've expressed them many, many times. It's nothing personal, man. We don't
Right,
want bad things for one another, man. But
right,
this is what we debate, and then what's going to happen? The truth is going to be revealed, And if he's right or somebody else is right, let's say the Bible's not true. I'm not going to go and get mad at people and go, no, it's just not true. It's just what it is. We wasted our time reading a book, but we learned a lot. That's my attitude. I'm not going to go get mad at people and, oh, you did this, and Tahar, you taught me this truth, and Russianvids told me this and got me to believe that the Bible's true. No, we're responsible for our own teaching. So it's the same for people who are maybe right if the Bible's not true, which again I would say is incredibly unlikely at this point. I think ET and I would agree
I've
with
been
that.
right, right. I've been listening to RV True for this other guy out there. His name is the scariest movie ever. Certain guys like that. I've been listening to those guys for about 7.5, 8 years now. So I know some of the stuff, but then I tend to go to other pages because at times it just gets repetitive. Flat
Yeah.
Earth. 24/7. To talk about the same thing every day, and it's like it gets repetitive. Saying the same thing over and over, and not
Yeah.
only that, but like Russianvids would do, any type of event that takes place. Oh, it's all not real. Nothing real ever happens. If there's ever a robbery and someone steals all of the dairy products from the nearest store, oh, that's all fake. That's not real. It's
Hmm.
like, come on, what the hell? What the hell is this cat saying? So, out of a world of 8 billion people, there's never any type of real acts of violence that take place. That don't
Yeah.
make no.
And notice how everybody says what's fake is what supports the Bible. You know that? It's like, okay, all the stuff
Right.
that's irrelevant, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Okay, that's real. Let's talk about that. But stuff that supports the Bible, they're like, no, that's fake. No, that's fake. And land ships, according to what IDL says. One guy's trying to break Deuteronomy 28:68 down with land ships, dude. Give me a break, man. What the hell's going on in the world, dude? It's absolutely ridiculous. So let me remind people again, the deception that does exist in the Ukraine through the mainstream media news is that God is destroying Ukraine because that's his land. Okay. And so God's going to destroy them that destroy the earth. And so that's the truth. And so if the government told us that, then we'd be like, the government's telling us the truth. Okay. Because that is the truth. And the same with the Corolla narrative. That Corolla is not getting passed around in the atmosphere. That's coming from God for us because we understand that. So they're not telling us that. They're telling us to wear a mask and socially distance and yada, yada, yada. What the hell? Where the hell is that in the Bible as a form of prevention? So it's what it is. It could not be any easier. It's amazing. I don't know, man. We always at the beginning got to shout out to Rooney McNutt because he's a very important part of our channels, and like he said it best, man. He said, this is it. Okay.
Right.
This is it. 100%.
Who was that channel that there was somebody on your stream yesterday, like the one you did earlier in the day? They brought up these guys who were streaming, and they basically like we're saying reincarnation's not true and the Hebrew Israelite doctrine's false. Did you get to check their channel out or anything?
No. I know that he wanted me to go and click the link on their debate and stuff like that. So, that's to me at this point, like that's settled science, so to speak. That's a truth and it's a gift. And so do we sometimes go and debate people just for fun? But, what's funny, even about that topic, Paula, who was on Good Servant's channel earlier, I told her about that because she was doing a live stream years ago. And she's like, how can this generation not pass till they see these things? And she was genuinely asking people. And I typed in the chat, it's through reincarnation. And she blocked me from her channel. And then later she made up a story and slanderous story that, no, it's because I was being like racist and stuff. Like she made up a false accusation. So, this is the deal. This is what happens when you bring the truth to people and they want to know, but then you tell them the truth and then they'll block you. So for the people that accept it, you have ears to hear that is in the Bible, reincarnation. So a vast majority of people won't accept that. Who cares if they don't at this point? So
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's definitely crazy what these cats are out here saying, man. And as I said, these guys are salt. These guys, they'll believe anything that you tell them as long as you put, a person out there that seems reliable, like Eric Dubay. All dinosaurs are fake. You got, 80 mil. What's the word I'm looking for? 80,000 views on the video, and most of the people are now convinced that all of that's fake because they watched a 15-minute video on it by somebody, ignoring the evidence that they do exist by just taking the flaws that he sees. And you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Eric Dubay, man. You know what our buddy Good Serpent said about reincarnation? Oh no, it only happens in a few isolated cases, dude. Come on, man. These people are like absolutely stupid, man. It's like they can't argue that it's true, but they're like, no, it only happens to a few people. The Bible says all eyes will see him, even those who pierced him. Okay. And so there was quite a few people that were involved in crucifying Christ. Okay. In Israelites and non-Israelites. So that's not like an isolated group. Okay. And so that's wild to me, that people are that resistant to understanding the Bible and then its truth. And then it's again, it just proves that it's true, which we don't need that. But it's just funny that they become Bible scholars all of a sudden, because the guy does 2 streams a day, doesn't talk about the Bible at all. Then all of a sudden he's like, it only applies to an isolated group of people. Like, how the hell do you know that?
It's like, what the hell is up with that? Do you have time to do 2 live streams a day? But here it is, you can't bring out any, as I call them, skibbies. You can't bring up any skibbies inside of your stream. It's like, so what the hell are you on here talking about? You're talking that good talk. But I mean, come on, man. How the hell do you have the energy to do it day in, day out for years on end? I mean, come on.
I was about to click the link this morning, man. I was wondering if he was actually in a good mood and would have let me on, dude. It would have been funny as hell. But maybe I will. I mean, but Good Servant was even talking about how I need to change my name because I can't have good in my name. And his chat, Michael, and those other people like, no, just leave it. it's the right idea. And so, no, it's not the right idea. No, not at all. There is no good servant, quote unquote good servant. There is one, and it's Christ. And so he's like, yeah, I want to change it to just the servant. So what a dummy, dude. He's just a stupid idiot, man. What a dumbo. He's like talking about his name and like whether he should change his name, and like when we're in the last days, dude, the country's getting decimated every day. And I'm not saying this to make light of them. That scares me, honestly, when I see that footage, because that's going to be us soon. People don't think, oh no, that's never going to come to me. Yeah, really? That's what the Bible says. Okay. That destruction is coming to America. Okay. And more. So that's scary, for all of us to know that that's what God's all about. And so think about it. If God is doing that there, why would he not do that to us? But we don't want that, of course, but what is America any better than Ukraine? America is the one that's the entity behind all those evil philosophies. So God's anxious to do that. So
Right.
that's
And yeah,
what's going on right now. Not, oh, I'm going to take your wrenches away and like, are you guys going to be upset? That's what he talks about, man. Like I go and fill out his stupid surveys that he does on his community posts, talking about absolutely nothing, man. Give me a break. People talking about, no, we still got 10 more years. No, we don't. Not at all. No. So it's crazy,
yeah.
man.
He's just a damn joke, man. I mean that's the only way. And again, I tried to hop on with him, trying to be friendly with him in the chat. I told him, hey man, well, let me hop on. Let's just have a friendly chat. He won't do it. For 10 months now. I was like, come on, man. Oh,
Yeah.
and some people might not know, we actually had him, on a stream with us for like 15, 20 minutes a year ago. We had a
Mm-hmm.
good chat, and then I have his personal number, so I called him, outside of streaming. We had like a 45-minute, chat. We were
Yeah.
very, polite with one another, and we agreed, that he'd let me on a stream in the future. Here it is, we're almost a year later, and he won't let me on.
Jeez.
So I don't know what happened with that.
You'd be better off talking to like Mark Sargent. You're going to that Flat Earth meetup. You learn more from Mark Sargent or somebody like Rob Skiba than Good Servant, who doesn't know what the hell's going on. So,
Right.
Mark Sargent knows that we're going to have visitors. He'll probably say maybe it's Bluebeam, but he did an audio book or an audio book, inside joke, that he said that we're going to have visitors from another civilization, and then that's why I called him, actually, because I wanted to ask him more about that. And
Oh,
he's like, yeah,
what did he
we
say?
pretty much, I have it recorded on my channel, but his response is that, and the cool thing about his channel is that, well, the reason I wanted to talk to him is just let him know that might be God, okay? Because he comes from a Christian background, so because he's early in the narrative, he said the mark is the mark, and I was like, that's pretty bold, because not any other truther did that. So, again, I think he knows what's going on, that this UFO invasion is actually going to be Christ's second coming. So I wanted to kind of give him that as an option. But, he believes, I suspect he would be more on the line of the blue beam deception kind of thing. So.
Right. It's as I said, man. These big guys on YouTube, right? These guys really are all just saying the same things. Like most of them, but some of them are Muslims, right? So I suppose they got a difference there, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty much they're all saying the same thing as far as the conspiracy goes. Oh, this is real, Mandela effect, that,
Mm-hmm.
reptilians, this, and even guys come around here saying that. So I mean, it's like, come on, man, you can't take these guys seriously after a while. Like even this guy, I believe, what is his page? I believe it's called, um, oh damn, oh the truth is scarier than fiction or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be on there. He'll do some good videos on certain topics, but then they'll go off. Or even this other cat named D13 Watchmen. Some people might know who that is. He's one of those Christian channels as well. Smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
He has like maybe 15,000 subs. But I was asking him a couple years ago, when the hell thing is like, oh, no, that's a real place that people go when they die,
Jeez.
and these guys are flat earthers too,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it just shows you just because they get one truth, it doesn't mean they're gonna get the other one.
100%. And it actually makes them more dangerous. That's what I was trying to tell Jack yesterday. I call him Jack Burnout. Jack Burton. He's in the chat. Once you have one or two truths, you actually have the potential to manipulate people. If you're only teaching lies, then you have nothing. Okay, you have nothing at all. the Christian church hoodwinked people into taking salvation and offering that as a product. So salvation is a real thing. And they offered that to people. And then I was a part of that for many years. And then it's a bait and switch. And then they're like, oh, here's the tithe plate, hey, pay your tithes and all that. So thankfully I haven't paid lots of tithes throughout my life, but even myself, like somebody who's somewhat discerned, like at that time, like, we've spent money, on that false narrative. And same with Perry. Okay. Our good friend Perry, who's reading from the Bible, no doubt, but then takes a few verses and then applies it to himself. Okay. And then says those are fulfilled right now, which they're not, they're in the future. And so, that's the deal. That's what we see going on in the world.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll give credit to Perry, because unlike a good servant, right? He'll actually open up the panel for anybody to hop on. And the most ironic thing is we have this guy going around in the chat. Oh, what the hell is this guy's name? Oh, Nemo, right? Nemo, you got Nemo going around out there saying, oh,
Yeah.
send. And then when you respond, he says, oh, well, the right answer is you're not supposed to ask people that. But then he'll turn around and literally ask everyone else the same question. So it's like, well, what the hell are you talking about? But
Mm-hmm.
here's the funny thing. One time Perry seen that and he was like, oh, well, Nemo, you need to grow a pair of, balls and click
Mm-hmm.
the link, right? Click the link. Well, why are you a coward and won't do it? So it's funny because Nemo comes around here and won't do it, but I call him out because he's defending Perry's doctrine. It's like, well, wait a second. Even Perry called you out
Yeah.
and told you you're a coward because you won't click the link. Well, what do you got to say about that? And you
Yeah.
won't give an answer on it. So these guys are just a damn joke.
Nemo's straight tripping, man. Like I was on your chat when he's there, and like the guy just doesn't know what's going on, man. And again, I just want people to know, man, the nice thing about it is like it's actually fairly clear. Once you understand the 10 or 15 principles to read the Bible, it actually, I mean, just plays out like a movie, and we're living in it right now.
But I was I was generally shocked when I heard this though, because our good buddy DJ Spin, he'd been coming around here almost as long as LOP has,
Mm-hmm.
but now recently he was converted by Mike to say that the New Testament is fake. So it's like, wait a second, you've been coming around listening to literally endless amount of hours of us talk about the New Testament, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're gonna throw all that out the window. So wait,
Jeez.
how the hell does that make any sense?
Here's the deal. Let's say it is fake. Let's just go along with that. New Testament's fake. What options do we have as the Old Testament, man? Do you think all of a sudden that makes us allowed now to go and honor God's laws, dude? We barely can say every word in the vocabulary without this stream getting shut down. So how are we going to go and honor God's laws? Okay, that's not valid hope. I'm not speaking out against God's laws. They're precious and eternal, but you can't do that and go off the grid and like start a farm and all that, dude. Him and I barely can afford a damn Red Bull, to wash down our Zingers cake tree, man, or my
Yeah.
Chipotle, dude. And again, like this is a good time to be poor. And I'm not saying that to be insensitive to people, okay? Like, me and ETT would consider ourselves not, financially wealthy at this point, and like, I'm just saying, I know it's scary for people. It's a good time actually to be poor, okay? Because now our only option is God and the New Testament, okay? Because the Old Testament, we can't afford to keep all of God's laws. It requires money and sometimes a lot of it and a community, first and foremost, to honor those laws because it's an ecosystem. It's a whole judicial system. It's a religious system. It's also involves, charity, okay, how to be charitable, and it measures it. So it's a lot of things, and we want to honor God's laws, but how can we honor God's laws when we are broke ourselves? Okay, and it's not a pity party. I know people are going through a lot in Ukraine and everywhere, but give me a break, man. The Old Testament by itself doesn't give us any hope. It does
Oh, but
not.
don't forget, they're not really going through a lot because they're living in the kingdom today.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like it's really like kind of go all in, on the New Testament. And the stuff that Mike brought
Right.
out, I just scanned through his video. I mean, it's like cosmetic. It's little details here and there. And like, again, the Most High puts that in there so people don't believe. Let me say that again. God wants a lot of people to not believe. So he'll talk about a beast rising from the thing. He'll talk about a horse in the sky. He'll talk about stuff. Okay. And he'll even talk about missiles. People don't want to believe that those are real. So God puts all those things in there so people don't believe. And the flat earth is another thing. They're like, well, that goes against science. So people are like, no, I only trust science. So who cares at this point, And again, those little differences, there are explanations for those. It's not that deep, okay? It's just the way it is. So Mike's getting Challenger deep, dude, but he's drowning in ankle deep water,
Right.
man.
Yeah,
Him and
yeah. He's about as deep as a shot glass. That's all you got to look at it.
right. The only thing is, man, I don't understand because he actually, dude, this is not. I don't know how to say this. Like, I cited one of his videos to prove that the mark is the mark. It's on his channel. Okay, so this guy is teaching that the mark is evil, but he's like, no, New Testament's fake. I was like, man, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Give me a break. And if anybody doesn't know that America is evil, the philosophies and principles of it, I mean, come on, man. What else does America need to do? I mean, they've enslaved people mercilessly here, the Israelites, and then they've gone and applied that same enslavement principles worldwide, and they're not stopping. So, I mean, give me a break.
Hey, well, at least he hasn't went as far as vocab yet, right? Vocab making 2 books about, the Black Hebrew Israelites exposed. At least Mike didn't go as far as making a book on why the New Testament's fake. At least he didn't go that far yet.
Yeah, and I would say it is fake in a little bit of time. We can't rush these prophecies. We need to give them a little time, but 2 or 3 years from now, after that, yeah, I mean, I would sit down and listen to what Mike has to say and be like, yeah, I mean, I would add that to the fact that the prophecies haven't come true, the other things, Christ's return. But, at that point, what's the point of debating that? Who cares? Okay, then the whole Bible is not true. And, just go on with your life or whatever, quote unquote life. So it's a moot point at that point. So, that's the nice thing about it for people like me and the few people that come by here. Like, it's a great time, just go all in, because this world is clearly on the decline. That's clear, like financially, morally,
Right.
everything.
Yeah,
So
that's not even arguable at this point, man. It's like, people going around out here like, oh, everything's all right. There's nothing to worry about. Matter of fact, they'll say that things are financially well right now. It's like, how the hell can you sit there and say that things are financially well just because you're, making a fair amount? That doesn't mean the next person is. Like, I'll give an example. I used to work for a millionaire, right?
mhm.
This guy can literally sit there and make, $10,000, $15,000 checks just like that. I was thinking that, like, I was sitting there by the guy one time. I was like, damn, that
Mhm.
must feel nice, making, $10,000, $15,000, agreements, without even having to give much thought to it. It's like, man,
Right.
that must be nice, be able to do that, So yeah, he's doing well.
Mhm.
Got 5 different trucks. He's doing a-okay, but
Right.
then look at me, you know what I'm saying? It's just because
Tina,
one person's
we have
doing
to think before we can put the guacamole on the burrito bowl. We got to be like, I don't know, can we afford this? Like, and we're not hating on the butters. People are doing well. Even Israelites, even the elect could be doing well. Some of them, that we're not hating on people, but it's not everybody. Okay, it's very very few people at this point. So it's not us throwing a pity party, man. The whole world is getting crushed. Okay, and that's what the Bible says. Who can make war with this beast? You can't fight it. The principles of this system, which benefit only a few at the top, that's not going to change. We know that now. So it's going to keep rolling, okay, and getting more and more to benefit only a few people. And if you don't align with that and then become a slave and serve them, then they're going to get rid of you. That's anybody. And that's the same thing they did with Christ. He wouldn't bow down to the system, the structure. Like, he's got to go. Okay. He's messing up our money, our system here and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we represent. We're people that want to disrupt this system. Okay. We're like, hey, wait a minute. Why are those people being treated that way? Why are they getting paid with their own money? Why are you charging interest? That's unlawful. And we look around the world and then, they hate us. They're like, shut up. Okay. We don't
right.
care. We're like, good. We don't want to be around you dummies anyway. So that's totally fine. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's just and Galapagos makes a good point in the chat. For guys who are skeptical on what's going on, it's like, well, hell, some people even know people who live down there, and they can confirm to you. And you have even, the regular people who are recording these things and uploading it to the social media like Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So I mean, if Russianvids or whatever these guys are saying is true about all this being staged, it's like, well, wait a second. So even the civilians are staging things to
Yeah,
deceive you? It's like, come
right.
on, it's
What do
just
they
not
get
even
from that?
logic.
They're
Right.
crying, man. And we know when people are fake crying and when people are crying like because they lost everything. And so they also are still figuring out what's going on too. Like they don't understand, why this is happening. And so it's scary for them, because they're like, why now? It's like they're already dealing with the Corolla inside joke, and then they got this, and it's like that's what happens. That's what God does in these quote unquote resets. Okay, when he's about to wrap up his scene, and I hope that this is the last scene in the quote unquote movie, then he's got to bring destruction. He's cleaning it up. So
Right, right. But hey, man, I just wanted to hop on for a little bit. As I said, I just woke up, so I got to eat something or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, man, good to chat. I might try to do a stream later. I'll try to see if I can work it out on my end to
Hmm.
do it. I can't promise on that for anyone listening, but possibly I might be able to do one. But we'll see
Hmm.
what happens.
Yeah,
So
dude, the world is like waiting for ETT to drop that link, man. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I'll be around after golf in case you do. Thanks for joining. Enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah, that's fine, man. So yeah, anyone listening, come hop by my page later. Lord willing, if I can figure it out, I'll go live. Because as I said, it's weird. I have data, but it gives me a problem for some reason. So I'll see what I can do with that. But
Mhm.
anyway, I'm gonna drop off for now. I'll see everyone around.
Yeah, peace, man. So, that was End Times Teacher. Um, just reiterating the fact, I would say close to a fact at this point that, um, the Bible is true, and it's amazing. Lifting the Veil said something great in the chat. It's real for the day to day people, but for the elect, it's all staged. And I like that, the way they said that. It's true. Okay. Because the elect know the election have obtained it and the rest were blinded. What does that mean? What have they obtained in Romans? They know that they're in a movie. Okay. And they know who the director is. Okay. Is the creator, is the most high. Okay. And he makes the characters and he tells them what to say. And they don't say anything that he doesn't want them to say. That includes you and me. Romans 11:7. What the in Romans 11:7, 11 times 7 is 11 times 7 77. You add together 18, 666. This is going to happen in the last days. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And so when you're blinded, you don't know where to go. Okay. You just are, close your eyes and you're just, touching and feeling your way around. You don't know where you're going. The election know where they're looking is in the sky. Okay. Other people in Ukraine, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to them, but if I was in the Ukraine, all I would be looking up for is in the sky. Like my neck would hurt. Okay. I'd just be literally staring up in the sky all day. That's it. I wouldn't be looking around, hey, where's my parents and where's the UN or somebody to come and help me and America's going to help. No, I look to the sky every day. And so that's why we're the ones that are not blinded because we're looking to the sky. In the sky, where's the sky? The sun, the light, okay? The Son of Man. And so we're the ones that are not blinded. And I don't say that arrogantly, but we have our eyes in the right place. Okay, we have our heart in the right place, and we understand that no man can help us at this point. Okay, and so that's why what he said is absolutely correct. Okay, every event on this earth is staged. Okay, whether it's an actual event or it's meant to be a form of deception, and God's behind it. Okay, according to Job 12:16 and many verses. So that's what the elect have obtained. Okay, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. And so God is controlling the deceptions on earth. Okay. And we're not deceived. Why? Because we know that now. And so we now are in a position now where we're asking for salvation, which is actually just ultimately a form of mercy from the Heavenly Father directly through his Son, Jesus Christ. So that's the situation that we're in. And there's no better place to look. And really, there's no other place to look except in the sky, okay, for Christ's second coming. And again, to reiterate the title, can Matthew 24:38-39 be fulfilled in the future? My argument is that no, it cannot be. Not in the distant future. Definitely not. And so it has to be in the relatively near future. Again, I don't know the day or hour, but we're required to know by looking at the entire volume of the book to understand what time we're in. Okay. We're supposed to keep track of the time period. And, I just want people to know, don't be surprised if we have a visitor very, very soon. Okay. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.